Here's a question I want you to sit with for a second. If you took away every kiss, every handhold, every casual touch on the back as you pass in the kitchen for 30 days, would your relationship get worse? Most couples assume yes. Obviously, yes. Touch is the glue. But here's what nobody tells you. For a lot of couples, touch stopped being connection a long time ago. It became a habit, a default, a way to avoid the harder work of actually seeing each other. So today, I want to walk you through something I call the 30-day physical intimacy reset. A deliberate, temporary removal of all physical touch, designed to do one thing: rebuild attraction from the ground up, using emotional connection as the foundation instead of the shortcut. This isn't a punishment. It's not about withholding affection to prove a point. It's a diagnostic and a rebuild. And by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why it works on a psychological level, and how to actually run it without it turning into a month of silent resentment. Physical touch is supposed to be a signal. In healthy relationships, it communicates something: desire, safety, appreciation, repair after a fight. It's a language. But languages can go dead. You can say, "I love you" so many times it stops meaning anything. The same thing happens with touch. When a couple has been together for a while, touch often shifts from intentional to automatic. The good morning kiss becomes muscle memory. The hand on the knee during a movie is just where the hand goes. And here's the problem: automatic touch can actually mask a widening emotional gap. It gives both people the felt sense of intimacy without requiring any of the vulnerability that real intimacy is built on. So couples stop doing the harder relational work, the deep conversations, the curiosity about who their partner is becoming, the emotional risk-taking, because touch is quietly signaling we're fine, even when they're not. That's the gap this reset is designed to expose. And once it's exposed, it can actually be closed. Here's the underlying idea, and it comes straight out of attachment psychology. Physical attraction and emotional attraction are two separate systems. But in long-term relationships, people almost always let the physical system carry the emotional one. The reset works by removing the physical system entirely for a fixed window. No kissing, no hand-holding, no cuddling, no sex, which forces couples to rebuild connection using only the tools that are left: words, attention, curiosity, humor, presence. Think of it like this: if you sprained an ankle and kept walking on it, it never actually heals. You just keep re-injuring the same tissue. Rest forces the body to rebuild differently, from the inside. Removing touch does the same thing relationally. It forces the emotional muscles, the ones that had atrophied behind the convenience of physical affection, to do the work again. And when touch comes back at the end of the 30 days, it's not returning to the same old habit. It's landing on a foundation that's actually been rebuilt. If you're going to try this, vague intentions won't hold. You need actual boundaries. Here's the structure I recommend. 1. No physical touch of any kind for 30 days. That means no kissing, no hugging, no hand-holding, no sex, no casual touch. This has to be a hard line, or the whole exercise collapses into mostly, and mostly doesn't create the pressure that makes this work. 2. Replace the touch with a daily connection ritual. This is non-negotiable. Something like a 20-minute conversation each evening with no phones, where you ask each other one real question, not "How was your day?" but something like, "What's something you're proud of that you haven't told me about?" Or, "Where did you feel distant from me this week?" 3. Name the reset out loud, together, before you start. Both people have to opt in. This cannot be done to someone as a punishment or a silent test. That's not a reset. That's withdrawal. And it will read as rejection instead of rebuilding. 4. Agree on a check-in at day 15. 30 days is a long time to run blind. A midpoint conversation lets you adjust. Maybe the daily ritual needs to change. Maybe one of you is really struggling with the lack of touch, and that itself is useful information. 5. Decide together, in advance, what the end looks like. Not a countdown to a touch free-for-all, a conversation about what you learned and what you want to intentionally carry forward. Let's get into the mechanism, because this is the part most people skip past. When touch is off the table, your brain doesn't stop looking for connection. It redirects the search. Attention that used to go to physical proximity now goes to listening, to noticing, to actually tracking what your partner said 3 days ago and following up on it. There's also a scarcity effect at play. Anything constant becomes invisible. That's just how attention works, biologically. Touch that's always available stops registering as meaningful. Remove it, and the nervous system starts treating connection as something to actively pursue again, rather than something ambiently assumed. And maybe most importantly, this creates anticipation. Couples who go through this consistently report that the tension isn't just uncomfortable, it's charged. Desire that's been dulled by routine gets reintroduced through distance. Not manufactured distance out of games or manipulation. Structural distance, on purpose, with an honest reason behind it. By day 20, most couples aren't thinking about the touch they're missing nearly as much as they're thinking about how much they've actually talked. That's the tell that it's working. I want to be direct about the ways this goes wrong, because it will if you misuse it. This is not a tool for one partner to punish the other. If it's introduced during a fight, or used as leverage, maybe if you did X, I'd want to touch you again. It's not a reset. It's coercion, wearing a psychology framework as a costume. That will damage trust, not rebuild it. It also isn't for every relationship, every time. If there's active resentment, unresolved betrayal, or one partner is fundamentally checked out, removing touch won't create curiosity. It'll create distance that confirms the worst fears both people already have. This works best as a maintenance and revitalization tool for relationships that are fundamentally solid but have gone stale, not as emergency surgery for a relationship in crisis. And it's not meant to run forever. 30 days is deliberate, long enough to break the habit loop, short enough that it doesn't become its own form of avoidance. Here's the thing I keep coming back to with this concept. Most couples treat touch like it's the relationship. It's not. It's the expression of the relationship, and expressions can go hollow while everyone insists nothing's wrong, because the hug still happens every morning. The 30-day reset isn't really about removing touch. It's about finding out what's actually holding your connection together once you take the easiest form of it off the table, and then rebuilding until touch is a choice again, not a habit. If you try this, I want to hear how it goes. Drop where you are on day 1 in the comments, and I'll check back in. And if this kind of thing, relationships examined through psychology, not platitudes, is useful to you, subscribe. I'm building this channel one honest conversation at a time, and I'd rather have 100 people who actually think about this stuff than 10,000 who scroll past it. I'll see you in the next one. Remember, connect with yourself and others. Reflect on your experiences and choices. Repeat the process, because growth is not a destination. It's a way of living.